What's up everyone? Welcome back to another guitar lesson. Today I'm going to show you the 5 levels of harmony on the guitar, or guitarmony, whatever you want to call it. We're going to start by taking a really simple progression, just C to F, 1 to 4 in the key of C. So I'm going to take you through 5 levels of harmony here, starting with the simplest, absolute easiest thing, all the way to the most advanced, jazzy sounding C to F you can play. All right, so jumping right in, we're going to go from C to F. That is a 1 chord to my 4 chord in the key of C. The way I arrived at that is if I have my C major scale and assign a number to every single scale degree, starting on C as 1, C, D is 2, E is 3, F is 4, G is 5, A is 6, B is 7, and then we're back to C, right? So I say, cool, you want me to play 1 to 4, C is 1, so I go C, D, E, F, here's 4, F is my 4, great. So 1 to 4. While I got you here, please hit that subscribe button, it really helps me out. So if I say pick up your guitar right now, play C to F, right? Most guitar players will probably start here, right? Maybe they'll play C to F, we have another, C to F here. Maybe you'll play your F like that, kind of that C shape, right? We're starting with triads here. Again, all a triad is a 3-note structure with the root, 3rd, and 5th built off of any root note. So for C, I just count C. I need the 1, 2, 3, and the 4, 5. 1, 3, 5, C, D, E, F, G. So C, E, G is my C triad. Now, what's a cool way to kind of start expanding out of our basic grips here, right? Like, these are great and sound amazing, but I want more options, right? Having options is everything. So first thing I'm gonna do is say, well, where are all of my freaking triads, right? And I want you to stop worrying about just root position. Root position meaning the root is always the lowest note in the structure, right? Because since we have 3 notes, I can actually utilize inversions to give me more sounds out of the same thing, right? And all an inversion is when we're rearranging the order of the notes, right? So if I have, 3 blocks and one of them is red, one of them is black, and one of them is white, right? I can arrange those 3 blocks in many different ways. I could have white, black, red, white, or red, black, white. Like, right, there's all these different arrangements that I can do. And that's really all inversions are, right? So for example, root position is when the root of the chord is the lowest note in the structure. First inversion, we just take the 3rd and make sure that is the lowest note in the structure, and you get it. Second inversion, the 5th is the lowest note in the structure. So you'll see, same thing, C, 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 right? Root position, first inversion, second inversion, all sound like a C chord, but a little bit different characteristic of a feeling when I play it, right? When I play this, root position feels like we're at home. First inversion to me sounds a little more optimistic and bright. Second inversion feels like, I don't know, like you've been waiting at a red light for too long and it finally turned green. I can go now, right? If any of this seems confusing to you and you're like, dude, what the heck is going on? I don't know what this inversion business is. How do I find these? How do I play these? I have an entire hour-long masterclass called Back to Basics on my website, thedonutdoctormusic.com. This will take you through every nook and cranny and really help you master these triads and pretty much everything else in this whole lesson. There's also a masterclass on my website. So click the link below and check it out. So the cool thing about this is we can play these triads and these triad inversions all over the neck, all over different string sets, right? Anywhere you have 3 notes, you can play these. And I have them, obviously, we just did them for C. I also have them for F, going up the whole neck. So what I want you to start thinking is, what if I start combining these different inversions, right? And this is what level 1 is all about, is just exploring inversions, right? So we have to get away from just this, right? Now I have C to F. I have C to F. C to F. Then some of these feel groovy, right? So already we're getting a lot of new sounds out of just the triads, right? Nothing harmonically is changing. I'm just using the same 3 notes that you gave me for C to F. Now, one other thing we can do to expand our triads a little bit is do what we call a spread triad. All a spread triad is you're gonna hear it, it's gonna sound more spread out, right? So here's a normal C triad, and here's a spread C triad. right? Covers a lot more space. And all that happens to create a spread triad is you take a closed position triad, meaning any of the ones that we've just been working with, right? So C, E, G. You take the second note, whatever the second voice in that triad is, in this case, it's E, and you move it up an octave. So everything else stays the same underneath. Okay, same thing for F. I have F, A, C here, and I want to move this second note in the structure up an octave. Now I have my F spread triad. And same way, check this out, same way we had all of our closed triad inversions, we have spread triad inversions, right? And to me, these are some of the most beautiful sounds on guitar. Eric Johnson really utilizes the spread triads, especially the spread triad inversions in his playing. So if you're familiar with him at all, you'll absolutely be familiar with these sounds, right? So, so, so beautiful. You know, it's just one of the best sounds on the guitar to me. Even if I just play root position. Come on, beautiful. Level 2, super easy. All we're gonna do is add a 7th to our triad. So instead of C major to F major, we're gonna do C major 7 to F major 7, right? And we also know C major 7 here and F major 7 here, right? And just some quick little embellishments we can do. If I'm playing C major 7 off the A string root here, try hammering on your pinky. So I'm gonna play through the chord with my pinky up and then hammer on the third of that chord. I can do the same thing on F. A really cool way to get some groove into the mix, right? Moving right along, level 3, same way we use triad inversions, we're gonna introduce 7th chord inversions, right? So the interesting thing about the inversions with 7th chords is, if we think back to triads, we only had root position, first inversion, and second inversion, right? But we only had 3 notes. So since we have a 4th note being the 7th, we're actually gonna have root, first inversion, second inversion, and third inversion. Now, the bad news is we have a whole extra inversion to worry about. The good news is we only can play these on 3 different string sets on the guitar. So, and check out how drastically different these all sound from the original chord, right? With triads, all of our inversions kind of still sound like a original chord sound, right? 7th chords completely change the game. Watch. Root position, first inversion, second inversion, third inversion, very tense, and then back to root, right? Now I could do the same thing on the A string. Root position, first inversion, so beautiful. Second inversion, third inversion, and then back to root, right? And then I can also play these off the D string root. Let's go back to F for here. I have root position, first, second, third, and we're back to root. Now, here's where the magic happens, right? Again, I'm just playing C major 7 to F major 7. What if I start using inversions? What if I start going C major 7 first inversion to F root position? Such a beautiful sound, especially up high. Right? Or maybe I keep the same voicing. I go from C major 7 first inversion to F major 7 first inversion. Again, try mixing and matching all these different inversions, right? I could do C major 7 to F major 7. Look at this, I'm not even moving my hand. So there's a lot of really cool hidden stuff, especially if you get into the lower strings, right? I could do something absolutely insane, like go F major 7 to C major 7, right? tons and tons of options available to us here. Again, quick reminder, if this is all feeling very confusing, or you just could use a little refresher on all your inversions, check out that Back to Basics Masterclass on my website, thedonutdoctormusic.com, link is right there. All right, level 4. This is where it starts getting a little complex. So I'm saying, okay, we got C major 7 to F major 7. Now, I want to create a little bit of tension bringing me to that F major 7 chord. So what I might do is I might introduce a secondary dominant chord. All a secondary dominant chord is a dominant chord that is secondary to the primary dominant in any key, right? Because naturally occurring on any major key, the 5 chord is always dominant. So by default, I'm going to call that my primary dominant because that's just what happens in harmony, right? So anything after that is kind of secondary to that one, right? That's where the name secondary dominant comes from. And to figure out how to find a secondary dominant chord, it's important to understand the initial relationship of our primary dominant. So in the key of C, right, if I go to my 5 chord, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which is G, and play a dominant chord, G7 really, really wants, when you hear that, you really want to hear that resolution, right? So let's break into that relationship there, right? So I basically have to just say, okay, when I'm targeting a chord, C major in this case, and I want to have tension, I just have to count 5 notes up from my target chord, C, C, D, E, F, G, and play G7, which brings me back to C there, right? So I'm gonna take that same idea of that fifth away relationship and apply it to F now. So I say, okay, I'm in the key of C, and I'm going from C to F. I wanna target my F chord so there's something, tension going to it. So I go, okay, well, all I have to do is count up 5 and play a dominant chord. So F, G, A, B, C. Interesting. So now I'm going to play a C dominant chord going to F. And again, I said our original chord progression, C major 7 to F major 7. So now I'm going to play C major 7, secondary dominant to F major 7, right? This is a big, big sound in popular music, right? Now, we can even further this here by adding a full 2-5-1. Now, when I say 2-5-1, again, I'm thinking of the chord of the moment or the target chord. So in this case, F, I said when I wanted to find the 5 chord, which is a secondary dominant, I just went F, G, A, B, C. There's 5. C is my dominant chord. So when I have a 2-5-1, you guessed it, we're gonna do the same exact thing. We're gonna count, okay, F, G, there's 2. So I know I'm gonna play G minor 7 to our 5 chord, C7, and then bring us back to our target chord here. So if I put that all together in context, right? Now I have a full 2-5-1 going to that F major chord. I could do the same thing going back home to my C chord. So after I'm on F, I could just do a normal 2-5-1 to C, right? And here's the cool thing with all this, right? We're getting into more thick harmony territory here. You can always retract back to our triads, right? So for example, if I was doing that big 2-5-1 to F, right? Maybe the last 2-5-1 back to C, I want to make really simple. So I'll just do triads. I'll do D minor, G to C, or I can do full G minor, D, C, right? And I can play that anywhere I want in the neck. D minor, G, C, right? So you'll see we can utilize all these more advanced feeling concepts and bring them back to the basics of just our triads, for example. Now, this is where I want your head to be. I don't want you to think, okay, when I'm in 2-5-1 mode, I have to be in these big, complex, chunky 7th chord things, or when I'm in triad mode, I'm being too simple and elementary, right? All these things are just tools for you to use however you want, right? Think of it like colors. It's like, you don't think red is any less cool than blue. You know what I mean? It's just a color. And depending on what you're painting, maybe you use more red than blue. Maybe you use more yellow than green one day, right? But these are all just tools for you to use to express yourself and make your music sound more fun. Again, if any of this is feeling confusing, I feel like I'm just like really trying to sell you my course, and I'm not. I just know people are gonna have a lot of questions on this stuff. Aside from my Back to Basics masterclass, I also have an entire music theory course. I have Music Theory 101 and Music Theory for Guitarists masterclasses, which both will unlock, you know, what is a 2-5-1? How do I use these 7th chords, and how do I add alterations and stuff. So if any of that seems confusing, again, it's all down there at the link, thedonutdoctormusic.com. Sorry to beat a dead horse with that. I just really want to make sure everyone is comfortable with all of these ideas, because literally every single one of these ideas could be like an hour-long video, and I'm trying to just make this into one little video, and now I'm realizing I'm gonna probably end up making this into a series of videos. So if you want me to make this into a series, comment below and let me know, and maybe I'll do it. So for level 4, all we're gonna do is start adding tensions. And I know that tensions always sound like a big scary thing and people get really carried away with it, but we can start very simple. Let's start with our triads, right? If I say, okay, my C chord, what if I add a 9th to that triad? So I just have a C add 9. Oh, beautiful. And then I go to F, same thing, I'll add the 9th. Beautiful, right? And very accessible. It's not like a big crazy sound, right? If we're coming from, now I have, or I can use that voicing too. Beautiful sounds, right? Now, what if I say that same thing? Let's add a 9th to our 7th chords, right? So now I have C major 9 to F major 9, C major 9 to F 6/9, right? And the nice thing about tensions is they can be pretty non-invasive when used correctly, right? But they can also be incredibly invasive, meaning creating a lot of tension. And sometimes that's just what we want, right? So a really good place to use a lot of tension is on a dominant chord. And in our 2-5-1 to F major, 2, 5, 1, right? On that 5 chord, that C7, this is, in my opinion, this is our opportunity to use all the colors, right? Put the blue, yellow, green, like everything in there. So, you know, if I say, okay, well, for my 2 chord, maybe I'll make it a 9th. So I'll play G minor 9. Instead of just C7, I could play C9, maybe C13, right? Let's audition a few of those. I'll do C9, so that's cool. What if I did that C13? Very cool. What if I did something crazy? What if I did like a C7 with a sharp 9, right? So here's my 9. I'm gonna add that 1/2 step to make it a sharp 9. Very cool sound, right? Definitely more tense. I could do that same thing. I could say, I'm gonna take my 9 and flatten it so I get a flat 9, which gives it a nice resolution. Right? Maybe I do both sharp 9 and flat 9, right? I could go really, really cool sounds here, right? So while we're in this land of really tense sounds, I want to add in one last idea to help you resolve your chords in a different way. And that's going to be using tritone substitution. Not to get into it too deep, because this could be a whole video, which I'll probably make on it, honestly, because it's really freaking amazing. Tritone substitution is basically where you take your secondary dominant, C7 going to F, and you create another dominant chord a tritone away, which would be F sharp 7, resolving to F. So you can think of it, a shortcut way to think of tritone substitution is find your target chord, F major 7, go 1 fret higher and play a dominant chord. And there is your tritone substitution. Cool thing about tritone substitution too is, check this out, if I say my original secondary dominant, 5 of 4 here, C7, check this out, the 3rd and 7th of my C7, they don't move. If I move my root down a tritone, now my 3rd and 7th of C becomes my 7th and 3rd of F sharp, which is my tritone substitution. So a lot of cool stuff going on there. So to hear how that sounds in context, right, I could hit C major 7, tritone substitution, F sharp 7, to our 4 chord, right? And I can even mix in that 2-5-1 idea. Maybe I go 2, tritone substitution to 1. right? So again, this is just one more layer of sugar to get through in these levels of harmony. Now for level 5, let's put all of this stuff together into practice, right? And we don't have to use all of it all at the same time, right? Like again, I want you to be able to interchange like my triad ideas, my 7th chord ideas, the 2-5-1s, the really tense, dark, deep chords, right? So what we're gonna do here is, last but not least, for level 5, let's put all of these ideas together into action. And just really, this is all about fun and creativity and experimenting, okay? There's no right or wrong way to combine any of these concepts. And if they sound funny to you at first, just, you know, realize that sometimes with tension especially, it's gonna take a little bit of getting used to, right? It's like a new spicy flavor. The more spicy food you eat, the more you can tolerate, right? And then eventually spice starts tasting really good. So same thing goes with harmony, right? So let's start really simple. C to F. Maybe I'll do some triad versions just to give myself a little different vibe, right? Maybe see what I did here is mixed C add 9 with the F major 9. I'll add triads and 7th chords, right? Maybe we add in our 2-5-1s here. I'm gonna extend the rhythmic duration of the progression just so we have more time to put in that 2-5-1. So. Pretty cool, right? Again, let's do a tritone thing. Maybe a 2-5 back to C. Triads. Spread triads. Right, so what I'm getting at here again, just there's no right or wrong here, okay? It's great thing about music and great thing about guitar is it's all up to you. It's a creative expression, right? So there is no right or wrong. Sure, there's technically right or wrong. I know the jazz police are going to attack me for saying that again, but when we picked up this guitar to learn it, we did it for the joy. We didn't do it to be some crazy egotistical maniac about being so precise about every little harmonic and melodic event that takes place, right? And I always like to argue, when you feel like most creative and come up with your greatest ideas, you're not thinking about the rules, and maybe you did something by accident that sounded sick. I just always have to remind everyone of that. Like, don't forget we're doing this for the joy and the fun and the love for the instrument, right? We're not doing this to compete with each other or, you know, to be the best in the world, right? Just, we picked up the guitar to experience joy. So make sure you're experiencing some joy doing it. Again, I'm kind of realizing now that this video is A, very long, and B, very deep. I thought it was gonna be a quick little friendly, like, here's some other things you can do, but I'm realizing now like every step of the 5 steps could be like its own hour-long video. I know I've said this 900 times in this video, but I do have a bunch of masterclasses on my website that do go into that level of detail on every single one. I have that music theory course, music theory for guitarists. I have an entire like 3-hour reharmonization class that goes as deep as I can possibly go into these kind of tritone substitutions and beyond. So check it out, donaldrmusic.com. It's right down there if you want to check it out. Also, if you don't want to do that, you could also just hit subscribe and comment or like. Subscribing to my YouTube channel truly does help me out. I know everyone says that, but everyone says it for a reason, because it truly helps. So click that subscription and you'll just see more of me teaching you fun things on guitar, and it's free. That's pretty badass, right? You just click a button and then you get more knowledge and hang time with me. Not that you want to hang out with me, but maybe you do. So, anyways, completely rambling on now. What else? Gonna make some lunch and yeah, edit this video. Hope you're having a great day. See you next time. YouTube demographics tells me that over 80% of my viewers aren't subscribed to this channel. If you're enjoying this video, please take a second, hit that subscribe button as well as the notification bell. This just helps all of my videos, all my guitar lessons make it to you so you can really enjoy them, and it helps me out along the way. Thanks so much for watching.